Hi Pirates, welcome back to part 2 of our Unit 10 review. We're picking up where we left off on question 6. Now this is a quantity times a quantity. Hopefully you're all remembering what's your favorite 4-letter F word. Yes, it is FOIL, also known as double distributive, so nothing too fancy here. Numbers play with numbers, variables play with variables, radicals play with radicals, they don't play with each other. So I have a 24 minus a 16 radical x plus 3 square root of x minus 2 square root of x squared. So now just be careful here. There's a little bit of simplifying you can do. A negative 16 and a positive 3 give you negative 13 square root of x. Nothing changes. And if I want to know what times itself gives me x squared, that's going to turn into minus 2x. Again, these are all the like terms that you can do. Okay, we're moving on to absolute value. This was another new topic for everybody this unit. Hopefully it went well for you. When you're looking at absolute value, you will always have two cases. Those two cases happen after you get the absolute value all by itself. So the first thing I need to move is the negative 10. If it's negative on the left, I'm going to add it to both sides. Okay, now I want to separate this into two possible cases. Maybe 3x plus 2 was my positive 25. Maybe 3x plus 2 was my negative 25. We've got two junior high equations that we can solve from there. It's okay if you get a decimal or fraction. That actually happens most of the time in the real world. Over here I subtract the 2, I get negative 27, and I divide to get a negative 9. If you're feeling A++, let's always remember you can check your answers. If you did that, you'd plug them all the way back into the original. Okay, the next one looks a little bit fancier. The first thing we need to move actually is this positive 8 out front. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Now I'm going to divide by a negative 2. A negative divided by a negative is actually back to positive. After you undo those things, now it's time for your two cases. Maybe this is 9. Maybe this is negative 9. We've got two nice little junior high equations to solve. Maybe my answer is 8, or maybe it's negative 10. Awesome. Now when we look at absolute value inequalities, it gets a little bit trickier because for our negative case, hopefully you remember what we need to do with the symbol. We need to flip it good. Okay, that's one of the rules of inequalities. Flip the symbol when you're multiplying or dividing by negative numbers. So I start off pretty similar to the other ones. I subtract 6. But now when I put my two cases, the first one is exactly what I see. The second one, flip the symbol, change the signs. We did inequalities a very long time ago. I add the 1, divide by 2. Okay, so maybe x is less than 3. Over here, when I add the 1, I get to negative 4, or x is greater than negative 2. I would encourage you to actually put this on a number line. That's going to help you see which direction these symbols are going. They are both open circles. If you're less than 3, greater than negative 2, you're actually shaded in the middle. So this would be an AND solution. Or if we talked about interval notation, which is a little more mathy, a little more algebra 2, my answer would actually look like negative 2, 3. Almost looks like an ordered pair, but this is the interval where this is true. All right, one more absolute value, and then it's smooth sailing from here. Here, what's bothering the absolute value? The 2. It's currently multiplying, so I need to divide. I set up my two cases. Again, I solve them junior high style, so x greater than or equal to 5, x less than or equal to negative 15. This one's going to look a little different on your number line. Make sure you put the numbers in numerical order, smaller on the left, bigger on the right. These are closed circles because it could equal those numbers. X greater than or equal to 5 is actually shaded to the right. Less than or equal to negative 15 is shaded to the left. So this is no longer an AND, this is an OR. When we write our interval, we're going to start with negative infinity all the way to negative 15. It's a square bracket. We union that with 5 to infinity. So it just looks a little different in interval form. It's a little fancier. Okay, now this last section, hopefully by now everybody's downloaded the Calculate 84 app either onto your iPad or your phone, or maybe you even have a graphing calculator somewhere in your house. If you're using a standard graphing calculator, when you change the mode, it's not going to say complex, it's going to say A plus BI. That will allow you to type in the I, which is above the decimal point. From there, this is a very easy exercise. Safety first, you're typing in exactly what you see, okay, and then you're going to add to that 3 minus 7i. These should be the best questions on the quest, and you get an answer of 8 minus 5i. Again, if I shows up more than one time, you would type it in just like you see it. So for the next one, you have 10 minus 3i, safety first parentheses, minus 2i times 4 plus 5i. I think these should be really great. You can obviously do them by hand if you would prefer, but I think if you're using your calculator, that's a smart move. Just be careful, like if I take a look at 14 and 15, there's no longer a space between them. So now I'm going to type it in without any operations in the middle. But again, you're typing in exactly what you see. I'm pretty confident, so I get 36 minus 42i for this last one. I'm pretty confident you guys have the ability to finish 13 and 14. Best of luck on your quest. Let us know what questions you have.